Hello, guys and gals, me Mudahar, and ladies and gentlemen, do I love me some good old-fashioned aliens. Now, yesterday was a pretty huge day for Ayla Mao stuff. In fact, I would say just before I started recording this video, ladies and gentlemen, it was also a weird Ayla Mao thing. NASA finds clearest sign of life on Mars, okay? NASA has announced a discovery of microbial life on the Martian surface. Ladies and gentlemen, when I read this kind of stuff, part of me gets excited. Now, before we go into it, I love Ayla Maos. I love space stuff. You know, like I said, it's too late for me to explore the oceans, explore Earth, and it's too early to explore the space above me. But you know what? One day, I hope, in my lifetime, I can see Ayla Maos, okay? I really hope I can shake my hands with an alien. But, I don't think it's gonna happen, all right? I'm pretty realistic over here, but I like to at least live and experience some level of possible alien life. So for instance, this is actually back from July 2024. So I don't know why the government's kind of talking about it right now. Actually, a few days ago, there was a massive sort of a hearing about UAPs. So, you know, there's a lot of stuff coming out alien-wise that I got to be catching up on. So NASA's Perseverance rover scientists find an intriguing Mars rock. So if you look carefully, they actually showcase the rocks right over here, the olivine and the leopard spot. The vein-filled rock is catching the eye of a science team of NASA's Perseverance rover, nicknamed Chayava Falls by the team. The arrowhead-shaped rock contains fascinating traits that may bear on the question of whether Mars was home to microscopic life in the distant past. So it's not necessarily, oh, there's Ayla Maos chilling in Mars right now. No, it's the possibility that maybe life existed at some point on our fellow planet. Now, I like to believe, I really do like to believe, but this is a huge thing if true, okay? If we found out that there's life in our solar system beyond just Earth. So here's apparently like NASA talking about it. Listen to this.
The scientific community that will, in essence, pressure test what we think we've found. So we're talking about Perseverance. This was a mission sent to Mars under President Trump's first presidency. And a year ago, we found a sample, and it was, again, we're exploring in places where there were rivers and where there were lakes. And much as on Earth, we think that that's where we'd see signs of ancient life on Mars. And so a year ago, we thought we found what we believe to be signs of microbial life on the Mars surface. And so we put it out to our scientific friends to pressure test it, to analyze it, and go, did we get this right? Do we think this is signs of ancient life on Mars? And after a year of review, they've come back and they said, listen, we can't find another explanation. So this very well could be the clearest sign of life that we've ever found on Mars.
So again, the key word here is they spent a whole year looking at their data, basically sending it out and saying, guys, please, God, try to disprove us here, okay? Not because we don't want to see life on other planets. It's because we need to be 100% certain that we've made a pretty big breakthrough. And of course, according to NASA and their scientific friends, it really is possibly the most clear evidence. But remember, it might be. It's not guaranteed. So a lot of the actual, like, sites going around saying, NASA found life on Mars. Not exactly true. It might be a clear indicator. But, right now, we still don't have Ayla Maos that we can shake our hands with. But I don't think as a society we'll really be shaking our hands with the Ayla Maos, because what I'm about to show you in the land of aliens might be one of the most insane clips that I've seen, quite honestly, in a long time. So for anybody that doesn't know, yesterday there was a big UAP, like a transparency and whistleblower protection talk. So you can actually see it right over here through the House Oversight Committee at the US. And again, this is about 3 hours long, basically, where you can just watch, again, these people come out, talk about UAP transparency, whistleblower protections, which has been talked about for over a year now. But one of the big key highlights of this was at one point of the actual talk, a video from October 30th, 2024 was brought. A video of an MQ-9 Reaper drone flying over Yemen. So at this moment, Representative Eric Burleson showed this footage for the entire world to see. So you can see right over here that the actual, whatever they're tracking, this is the UAP. And obviously the craft that they're using is an MQ-9 Reaper. So at some point during this, there will be a green light for a missile to fire. So, they're currently tracking it. They're going, hold on a minute. There it is. You can see the missile right there. It goes right through. And then, of course, this there's like 3 things that fall off right there. And then, of course, this is the main UAP. And it just continues to, I guess, keep moving. Now, again, they're switching like different cameras. They're trying to get like a closer eye of it. So you can see that's where the actual UAP is. And it just keeps moving in that direction while being, at least from what I see, completely unaffected by an actual Reaper Hellfire missile. So at this point in time, the actual video kind of just stops over here. And I wish you could kind of see more, but that's about everything that was provided. Now, from fellow skeptic Mick West, he actually jumped in and showed a little bit of a zoom in regarding this. So if you look closely at the UAP, you can see that's the actual missile payload from the Reaper drone right here. And it goes through, and it almost feels like it definitely impacts it, right? So the actual missile goes through, and you can see the trajectory continue here. And of course, there's like parts that break off. It almost kind of seems like a balloon, because as it goes through, you can almost see like a weird pierce. Like, it's kind of hard to tell, but look at the left of the crosshair. So again, going frame by frame, it almost seems like air discharges and then the balloon like, just completely demolishes. These are like pieces that go off. But again, if it was a balloon, I think it would be pretty... It wouldn't keep traveling in that direction. So basically what we've seen over here is a UAP that is engaged with by the US government. So when I talk about life on Mars, we're at a point where unidentified aerial phenomenon, it's being observed by actual Reaper drones. And granted, I think this is like, since this is over Yemen, I believe the US is militarily engaged over there. So they were probably tracking it for a little bit, and they were like, they wait for the green light, and once you get the green light, they just send the drone down there. Now, what's kind of shocking to me here is like US drone and missile technology is, from my understanding, pretty significantly farther than like most of the other world out there, right? Like what the United States has is almost science fiction in comparison to their contemporaries. So when I see this kind of happening, it blows my mind. I was thinking that the actual like missile was going to like blow up as it impacted, but it seems like whatever payload was inside the Hellfire missile just didn't go off. Now, I don't know if it was like a missile inside there, or maybe it was like one of those like empty payloads that the US government uses to like kill terrorists sometimes. Instead of destroying the whole wedding party, you can just send in like a little drone and like directly attack, whatever terrorist you want. I think they did that with like Zawahiri, and then boom, that's how you just wipe somebody. But I don't think if they were engaging with aerial phenomenon, they would use something intended for like a human civilian target. So that's kind of wild to me. But let's assume the payload didn't go off. It just goes right through what it seems to be this actual like UAP. And the UAP continues to go on. Now, some claim it's a Hellfire missile being split, which I guess you can kind of see over here. So as the missile goes in this direction, you can see that at some point as it goes through, there's like a black shadow underneath. I don't know if that's the split of the missile, or maybe some of the debris that was spotted here might have been like portions of the missile. But whatever it is, this thing seems to have survived a United States Reaper drone, which is fucking crazy. And is it alien technology? I don't know. Probably not. But if we're engaging with aliens at all, let me tell you, first contact wars from Mass Effect are gonna be a thing. Now, this could just be like an enemy combatant having like some countermeasure against a Reaper drone, which again, because this is a UAP, we're not just going to jump in and say alien aircraft. UAPs literally could be anything, okay? It's just an unidentified aerial phenomenon. And sometimes that can even include enemy military like apparatus. Maybe it is possible that, somebody in another military has found the counter to the Reaper drone. And not that a counter probably doesn't exist. I'm sure, I'm sure like the Chinese military probably has counters to whatever the Americans have. Maybe they might even have some things that are superior. I'm not a military like expert on it. I don't necessarily know. You're probably going to have to dig into your codec and call like Natasha Romanenko for that. That's not me. But yeah, I'm just a fucking like UFO nut looking at this kind of stuff, okay? But with healthy skepticism, of course.
I have heard about events like this. I have heard about this event. Jeremy Corbell and I talked about it in one of our episodes a while back. We did not have the video, though. There are servers where there's a whole bank of these kind of videos that Congress has not been allowed to see, that the public hasn't been allowed to see. Occasionally, some of that stuff gets out in the wild and it comes our way. It should be going to you. The public should be seeing this stuff. And why you're not allowed to, I don't know. But that's a Hellfire missile smacking into that UFO and just bounced right off. And it kept going.
It kept going, and it looks like the debris was taken with it.
So I do like how they got the experts kind of talking over here, and then they bring up the claim that there's like servers full of this stuff. Which again, look, maybe there are, but I'm a little bit surprised that the government necessarily isn't allowed to see it. Alongside the public as well too. But look, this is just another claim that's brought up. He did use the term UFO, which is interesting to me because, again, unidentified flying object, unidentified aerial phenomenon, kind of two sides of the same coin over here. Similar terminology, but I feel like UFO is more geared towards alien, high-tech spacecraft, just in people's heads. Look, at the end, I want to know how something that got hit by a Reaper drone, or not a Reaper drone, but the Hellfire missile component, is still able to actually keep going. I just wish we had more of the footage to see, which is a little weird because I don't think that Reaper drones just stop recording after the 50-second mark. There should be more footage, and that's just the biggest question in my head. It's I just wish we had more to go off of rather it being cut off at some point. Now look, fellas, all right, the alien situation is kind of insane. It just keeps getting more insane. We're at a point where I guess NASA is trying to confirm alien life on Mars. Maybe it's a funding play. Maybe they actually have found something that is going to shatter the world as we know it, simply because, Earth is not the only planet that I guess technically has ever had life. If Mars has life, then I think it's imperative to know how it formed and how we can possibly cultivate it again. So maybe one day we as human beings can leave our planet and maybe colonize something else. I think that's really the play that a lot of these agencies want. I don't know if NASA's bullshitting. I'm going to hope not. But, at the end of the day, I just wish there was more that came out of it. I want to see more of what these friends have been discovering. When it comes to us engaging with unidentified aerial phenomenon, I usually always thought the government tracked it. But now I've finally seen the government engaging with it with several hundreds of thousands, millions of dollars worth of fucking military equipment. So imagine if you are an alien that's just come to visit Earth for a minute, you are now engaging with the best aerial force that we as human beings have to offer, okay? And if aliens can fly through space, then I don't think pissing them off is a smart idea. But one thing that I've kind of liked about the alien community lately is a bit of the healthy skepticism is sort of really infesting the world. A while ago, I saw a video of the Booga sphere, for anybody that doesn't know. Columbia 2025 showed this unidentified aerial phenomenon. It was a sphere that was just kind of basically moving around the sky. People would look at this and think, damn, is that like an alien satellite probe, an alien anal bead? But, of course, the alien community right over here, especially from r/aliens 3 months ago, was doing similar things. They were attaching literally these spheres to drones connected by fishing lines. And they were able to capture similar phenomenon as well, which is something that I'm glad to see. I like seeing people do these experiments because generally when I see alien footage shared around, I think the communities around this should be mostly skeptical as opposed to just believing everything that they see. And that's one of the things that I've kind of seen with this, the USAF footage with the drone, with the Reaper drone intercepting this UAP, is that people are kind of skeptical of what it actually could be. And I think we really are owed more of an explanation as to what the government has found. I think that a lot of stuff probably won't be shared because whatever was flying through space, I think is another country's military apparatus. And I don't think the government necessarily wants to share anything more when it comes to the military of things. Because that's where shit gets really fucking secretive. But ladies and gentlemen, aliens, UFOs, some might consider it a distraction from certain other pressing issues in our life. I, for one, love to see anything alien related. So hopefully you like what you saw. Please like, comment, and subscribe. Dislike if you dislike it. Be skeptical. Remain excited for alien stuff. And hopefully one day we might shake our hands with Ayla Mouse. I am out.